Years after former Governor Jerry Brown pledged California would launch its own dam satellite to track planet-warming pollutants, the state plans to put not one, but two satellites in orbit to help it hunt for hard-to-find super emitters of methane and carbon dioxide. In an announcement Thursday, a partnership of government and research organizations working under a newly formed nonprofit called Carbon Mapper said it is on track to launch the satellites in 2023 using $100 million in funding from philanthropic groups. The two satellites will be used to locate, quantify and make visible plumes of methane and carbon pollution, which remain major obstacles in the fight against climate change. Regulators and scientists say faster, more accurate monitoring is urgently needed to accelerate greenhouse gas reductions and keep global warming from reaching catastrophic levels. The satellite's targets will include oil and gas operations, waste management facilities, dairies and other industries that researchers say spew much of the state's methane, a short-lived but powerful pollutant that is more than 80 times more effective at trapping heat than carbon dioxide. These sort of methane emissions are kind of like invisible wildfires across the landscape, said Duren, chief executive of Carbon Mapper and a research scientist at the University of Arizona. No one can see them or smell them, and yet they're incredibly damaging, not just to the local environment, but more importantly, globally. Methane accounts for about 10% of California's greenhouse gas emissions, but that share is growing as the state's carbon dioxide pollution declines. Methane leaks can also emit other health-damaging pollutants such as benzene. Years of aircraft-based measurements across California have detected hundreds of previously hidden but highly concentrated plumes of methane. The Los Angeles Basin, Central Valley and Bay Area stand out as target-rich areas, Duren said. Between 2016 and 2018, Duren and other scientists surveyed hundreds of thousands of California facilities, pieces of equipment and infrastructure, including oil and gas wells, landfills, natural gas pipelines, and dairies. They found that about 600 super emitters, less than 0.2% of the state's infrastructure, were spewing more than one-third of the methane pollution. The biggest emitters were landfills and composting facilities, dairies, and oil and gas operations. California air quality regulators, who are part of the project, said they lack the kind of detailed and frequent monitoring that is necessary to pinpoint invisible plumes of pollution. They plan to use the data to target enforcement actions and implement other emissions-cutting measures, which they say are vital to meeting California's emission reduction goals on time. Those goals include slashing greenhouse gas emissions 40% below 1990 levels by 2030 and reaching carbon neutrality, or net zero emissions, by 2045.